Today we're checking out the Cetus from Alabs Audio, brand new pedal from a brand new company. It's got 9 algorithms. I just finished recording the sound demo section, and I just have to say there's a lot of fantastic sounds to be found in this, both kind of traditional hall, room, spring, plate type reverbs, and also more unusual stuff. If you've been searching around for reverb pedals at all at any point, you'll know that the spring algorithm is a pretty difficult one to get right. I think this one definitely punches above its weight class. So let's listen to the sound demos, and then I'm going to get to talking about all of the different functions, the knobs, the switches, and stuff like that. The timestamps are in the description, and if you want to read a little bit more about the pedal as you're listening, I've got links to the company's website down there as well. Something else I should mention is that this pedal has true analog dry-through. What that means is that your core guitar sound is never being processed by the digital effect. Digital effects inherently add latency, and so by preserving your analog sound with this pedal, and the mix control just acting as a mix, just blending in as much reverb as you need, you're not going to experience any tone loss, you're not going to experience any added latency to your core guitar sound. The other nice thing is that the switch is a relay switch, so minimal popping, if that's something that matters to you. This is a great pedal to own if it's your first reverb pedal, if you're someone on a budget. The 9 algorithms give us a nice mix of kind of standard reverb tones that everyone should have access to, as well as a couple extras thrown in there. It also, stereo in, stereo out. You can use it in mono, plug into the left, come out of the left side. You can plug in mono and come out stereo for true stereo operation. You can also plug in stereo, so if you have stereo effects prior, it's going to retain that. The other cool way you can use this that I wanted to point out is you can use it as a wet-dry split. So you'll plug into the right input this time and come out. On the left side, it's going to be just the reverb. On the right side, just your dry guitar sound. So something that you can do with that is send your dry guitar sound to the amp sitting next to you on stage, send the reverb directly to front of house for a big, lush, wide sound that's not being compressed by your guitar amp. So wet-dry operation in this price point is something that I haven't seen yet. A lot of the knobs have secondary functions, which is pretty cool. So at this point, I'm going to get into the, just how the pedal works. In this next section, I'm going to run through all of the 9 reverb algorithms and also kind of explain how the controls on the front work. So I'm going to flip to a hall sound. I'm going to make sure that both the predelay and the modulation are minimized. I'll talk about that switch and how it affects that knob in just a second. So the decay control does what you would think it does, going from the early reflections. Let me boost the mix here. To the late reflections. A nice blend in between. And then as we increase past about this area, lengthening the decay, but it's really nice to be able to control early reflections, late reflections, a blend of it, extending the length of the reverb. So that's the decay control. All right, the bright knob is a tone knob basically, and as you have it counterclockwise, that's going to be your darker sound. As you roll it clockwise, you're going to get much more high end in your reverb path. And it's not affecting the dry tone of your guitar. Now, the mix control is able to function as both a blend between your wet and dry and also a kill dry, so you're getting just the reverb sound if that's what you want. So kind of unique there too. So all the way down, all the way counterclockwise, we're getting just the dry sound of the guitar. And we're going to roll that up, get a little bit more of the reverb sound. Even more. And as we get to about this 2 o'clock point, that's when we start, the reverb is 50-50 with the dry sound of the guitar. And as we boost past here, we're actually starting to cut the sound of the guitar. And finally, as we get fully clockwise, there's no sound of the guitar anymore, it's just the reverb. So a really nice feature that this pedal is able to give us, which a lot of pedals don't, is that you're able to use it both as a blend and as a kill dry pedal. All right, and then we're getting into the algorithm knob, which I'll go over the algorithms in just a second. First up, let's talk about the delay, or the pre-delay here. So the pre-delay is the amount of time before you hear the first early reflections. I'm going to boost this a little. As I increase the pre-delay, can you hear that? It literally introduces like a delay instead of, and the reverb washes immediately. It just takes a few milliseconds, which is a nice way to make sure that a really lush and full reverb tone, doesn't step on the dry sound of your guitar. You can still play complicated chords. And the reverb doesn't sound like it's clashing so much and just swallowing the core sound of your instrument. So that's the use of a pre-delay. Here's the maximum setting. You can really hear it there. And then we get into using the same knob for the modulation control. So flip this switch down, and now you're controlling modulation. By the way, if you liked your pre-delay setting, set it there. Flip the switch, and it's going to retain that setting no matter what you do with this now. So modulation is also a nice way to kind of disperse the reverb and keep it from clouding the sound of your instrument. And same thing here. You like your modulation setting there and want to flip back and readjust the pre-delay. Once you flip that switch, it'll save your modulation setting. Now, the actual function of this switch, besides controlling the function of this, is to control the function of the press and hold here. So in the up position, it's hard to see on the camera, but there's a little snowflake, and that's going to give you a freeze function. Press and hold that pedal, and it's going to sustain whatever chord you were playing at that moment, or whatever the reverb was reverberating at the moment that you started holding it down. Flip this switch down, and it's a little different for each algorithm. Just kind of a surprise effect. In this next section, I'm going to do a speed run through the 9 algorithms so you can kind of get a quick idea of what they're all doing. I also wanted to thank the company for reaching out and sending this pedal to me. I got an email in my inbox maybe a month or so ago that they said basically, hey, we're a new company. We have a couple new pedals coming out. Why don't you check out the website, see what you might be interested in. We'll send it your way, and if you like it, you can make a video. There's not much else to say other than that. The relationship's very casual, but keep that in mind as you're listening here. So I'm going to keep the modulation at minimum for all of this. I have the pre-delay, just a little bit of pre-delay there. I'm going to keep the decay kind of high, the tone knob right in the middle, and the mix rather high so that you can actually hear the reverb sound. So here's Hall, which is what you've been hearing so far in this video. The room sound. Church. Spring. Plate. we have the Swell. And on this one, by the way, the modulation control is the one that affects how long it takes to swell in. So if you want that long swell, flip the switch down, increase the mod setting, or shorten it up a little bit. We'll reset the modulation to 0. Here is the Shimmer sound, which I find sounds better on slightly darker settings and a little bit behind the guitar sound. Shimmer reverb is basically like a longer reverb sound with an octave up effect. So they're pitch shifting just the octave sound. Here's the cloud setting, which is the first one you heard in this video. And then wave. There it is, the Cetus from Alabs. Let me know what you thought down in the comments. If you enjoyed the video, you've heard it before, like, subscribe, all that stuff. It helps me out. As I said earlier, I have a lot of demos of affordable guitar gear, and if this video was something that interested you, chances are you're gonna find some other stuff on my channel. Thanks for watching, take care, and I'll see you in the next video.